we're going to be using watercolor paints primarily. For the transparent colors, I'm going to be using the Createx illustration paints. These are basically a candy. Any range of candies, your Minotaur do ghost tints, they're basically the exact same paint. They're equally phenomenal, but they're what I've got in, so they're what I'm going to use. So let's get cracked on. Start up, a little bit of watercolors black, straight in. A little bit of airbrush thinner, and we're going to attack this from the bottom, and let's see how much of this deepest shadow we can catch. Yeah, I want to mention as well, because this is like hyper speed painting, I mean, you can see, let's get a brush down here specifically, that's quite a bad one really. Down here, down here, I've not spent any time cleaning these up. I mean, these are as they came out the box. I mean, your mileage will vary here. I mean, we got the likes of this, that's awful. But because I'm doing this so fast, and because I'm primarily absolutely focused on just getting these tabletop ready in the shortest amount of time, and primarily because they are just a board game miniature, and they're not premium quality minis by a long crack, so I'm not overly fussed on things like mold lines and whatever. It's really the bottom of my list of concerns. They'll look fine on the table. Just cleaning my brush out, and that's all I'm bothered about, making sure they do look good on the table.
Isolated eyes, a messy mind. Think I need to help you, I'm gonna try.
Yeah, as you can see, I've gone substantially darker on the uniformed guys and a little bit lighter on these guys. They're going to be wearing dark blue uniforms. These guys are going to be in like almost a white overall. So I'm just trying to establish those differences in light values straight away, right from the offset. Right, so I'm going for a 50-50 mix of a cool grey and a warm grey. So, a reasonably light grey is where I'm going with this. I'm going to leave that in the brush. I'll put the cap back on just to protect the needle. Yeah, just in case it might slip off the side, I might drop it, who knows. Always better safe than sorry, because they're really not cheap. And we're going to put a little black on the wet palette. I only need about. I'm going to go back in and reinforce or re-pick out, maybe I should say, the black areas, you know, that caught the overspray. So now I've re-established the blacks on these models. I'm going to go in and put a first tentative zenithal highlight down upon everything. And if it catches the face, that's only a good thing. This is the same colour that I've highlighted the faces with.
It's been a roller coaster, but you stayed.
And I'm going to go in with a watercolours white.
What you wanna be, and I can feel, but you love me. Take me to a place I'm calling for. Open up the doors I'm knocking on. I'm losing control.
I have some sort of flesh wash, but basically yeah, any brand of flesh wash would do the job wonderfully well here. And that basically is skin tone done across the board. Then as that dries in, it looks more and more skin like. I mean, really quick. Now I'm going to do these three. I've got a transparent orange. As I said before, these are very much like Minotaur ghost tints, or like any other candy colour. They're incredibly strong pigment. They're completely transparent. Well, not. Yeah, they are. They're pretty much completely transparent. And obviously they're an acrylic paint as well, which means they're totally compatible with everything else we use. Now, I was going to leave the knee pads white, but I've decided I'm doing the knee pads, the shoulder pads, and that stripe down the centre of the chest, all in the orange, just to introduce a little colour to the model, because they run the risk of not looking painted.
You cashed in on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now.
I'm going to use a Vallejo white. And I'm gonna dry brush the hair with it.
Casting on my promises, you know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out, 'cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now, a little stronger
As you can see, it has picked out the detail as best it can, but yeah, there's not a great deal on these models. You saw me get my 3 browns out on the palette. What I'm basically going to do is wash each pair in a different coloured brown hair, just so there's a little bit brown, but there'll be a little bit of variance going on. So I'll let that dry completely and move on. And I've got a blue violet, I'll pop that on the palette. I'm going to leave it out because I'll probably need a bit more. I'm going to thin it down a little bit. As you can see on the hair how incredibly well that dry brushing is translated into highlights, you know, through the fact that there's transparent paint, I mean, especially on his hair, it's crazy. And also the change in tone from, you know, the white to almost the black from the zenithal highlighting. I mean, it's really easy to see on this colour, and that's what this technique's all about. Painting that kind of effect with a paintbrush would take ages, and yet, yeah, it takes a matter of seconds in this way. Okay, so off camera I've done a few little bits. I've painted in just a flat back on all the guns and the pouches, stuff like that. I've thrown on some gold detailing. I've painted the Greaves' bionic arm black. I've put a little, I don't know if we can see that in there. Maybe if we turn it around this way. Yeah, I've painted like the screen on his arm in green. Again, I've not bothered with any object source lighting or anything. And I've painted hair in exactly the same way as I did the hair on the other models. So what I'm going to do is a really light grey dry brush, but dragging downwards all the time on all the blacks that I've painted on, I'm going to throw a sepia wash on all the gold, well, specifically these arm patches, these gold arm patches, and then I'm going to throw a silver dry brush on the guns, and that will be a job done. That will be a finished model.
Couldn't keep your poker face, but boy, you kept me waiting when I wanted to race. Sweet as hell, baby, you're a sugar rush. I knew you were giving, temptation was craving. You love it, you hate it. Now let me take the lead. Know you wanna play with me. Got secrets you might wanna see.
And there we have it. 4 hours. Whilst I didn't get all 20 done, in 4 hours I've got 16 to a good tabletop standard. I mean, these are by no means, they're never going to win any competitions. And yes, I haven't done the bases, but as I said before, I'm a little stumped as to what to do. I might just edge them in black, and they're more than acceptable for the table, I think anyway. I might just edge the bases in black and leave them that plain grey, because I was quite careful not to splash with the feet and really cause too much carnage, so they sort of work as just a plain grey base. It's futuristic after all. I might get away with that. Well, I'll see at some point. One thing I really like about this technique for things like white, it's got that sort of semi-grubby lived-in look. Let's get it quite close. What it doesn't have is that chalky kind of, I don't know, I can't explain it other than chalky. White paint on models tends to look really fake and really chalky. I think they look kind of cool. So, there we go. 16 to tabletop standard in 4 hours. It's hyper speed.